The North London seat of Hendon a key test for his strategy. Labour should win here easily if Mr Miliband is heading for number 10. At the Hendon Park Cafe, owner Jason, no fan of the mansion tax, but liked Mr Miliband's message.
Most of the Labour policies I like, there's one or two I dislike very strongly. But overall, he seems quite good.
What would you have to do to just secure you?
It has to be, my personal opinion is, he's got to look more confident. He's got to be more confident, and he made a few blunders on TV recently. He's got to just be better.
The Conservative majority here, just 106, and that should be easy to find in this ex-Labour seat amongst disaffected Lib Dems.
There wasn't a lot that was new in Ed Miliband's restatement of his core beliefs. But it's no surprise that it went down kind of warmish in the London suburbia here and in that hall full of core Labour supporters. The problem for Mr Miliband may not be that Britain disbelieves his account of the nation split between the powerful and the weak. No, the problem may well be that there are many millions of people that believe it who are choosing to cast their votes elsewhere.
3 pages of this speech was about UKIP.
Test out the arguments of the Tories who say everything's fine. Test out the arguments of UKIP who don't have answers for working people in this country. And test out our arguments. Now, I happen to believe that our arguments are the best arguments.
The surge in smaller parties means 6 months ahead. This election looks a lot like a test of who loses the least rather than who wins, for both Mr Cameron and Mr Miliband. Faisal Islam, Sky News.
Let's stay in North London now and bring in Faisal. Evening, Faisal. I suppose what a lot of people will be trying to weigh up is whether Mr Miliband's message is compelling enough to overcome the doubts about him as a man.
Yes, Jeremy, evening. It wasn't quite make or break this for Ed Miliband. He sort of made it past the slight breakage we had in Labour discipline anonymously over the past week or so. What it was a fairly robust account that went down well in the hall. Seemed to go around pretty well here when I explained it to people who didn't watch it on TV, which was most of them. But I think that there was nothing new in terms of the kind of policy or indeed the position or indeed the core beliefs. It was a restatement with a bit of extra kind of verbal gloss, this 0-0 concept. But again, if people have accused Ed Miliband of a core vote strategy, it didn't really meander from that. We had references to unequal Britain, a Britain where there's powerful forces, vested interests trying to stop Labour. Mr Miliband thinks that these forces are scared that Labour might win. That's why you're getting the press coming out against him. I mean, there was questions accusing him of some paranoia on that score. But I think generally the key issue here for Labour is that there are lots of people that sign up to this diagnosis of an unequal Britain. But there are many of them, including in the Rochester by-election, who are choosing or will be choosing to put their cross by UKIP's mark, and that is a disaster, that you get people that are anti-cuts, people that feel the squeeze in the cost of living, but are willing enough to vote for an ex-Conservative candidate. That is his challenge. He will be able to, he should surely be able to deliver seats like Hendon with a majority of just 106. But the question is whether that message will appeal more widely and actually deliver Ed Miliband to number 10. It was a confident performance. He kept on trying to visualise himself at number 10. It may not convince the doubters, but he fired the starting gun for his own troops, and they're now more in order than they were before, 6 months on from this general election.
Thanks very much indeed, Faisal. The Philae space probe has sent back the first